everyone, welcome back to my channel. Inat Kessler here with a new video tutorial, and today we are making card number 4 in the 12 cards of Christmas series. Today we are making a pop-up star explosion card, which I really like. And you have all the measurements in the cutting guide in the description under the video. You can go ahead and download it and have all what you need to make all the cards in the series. So we're going to start with our base and score it at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. And I'm using white cardstock as a base, but of course you can use any other color or pattern that you want. So we're scoring this at 2.5, 5, and 7.5, and then we're going to fold it like this. So we're going to fold both sides in a valley fold, like a gatefold card, and then the center is going to be folded the other way. So we're going to have a little accordion or concertina like this, a big M. So I put that aside for a while, and then we're going to take our mechanism and again score it the same way at 2.5, 5, and 7.5, exactly the same way, at least in the beginning. So 2.5, 5, and 7.5. Now we're going to create our star explosion effect. So what you have are 3 vertical score lines, right? And then you have one in the middle, so that creates 2 squares. So what we're going to do is bring a ruler. It's easier for me than to do it on the scoreboard or something like that, and we're going to score diagonally on both squares from corner to corner. So I'm just using my ruler and a bone folder, and always put your bone folder on one point and then align your ruler on the other point, and then you'll have an accurate line. So from the middle score line, like I said, you have 2 squares, and we're going to score them diagonally with a big X on each of those 2 squares. And that will create our star explosion effect. Okay, so now we need to fold. So what we're going to do is fold the first score line on the left in a valley fold, and then the second one also in a valley fold. All the straight lines, the vertical straight score lines, are going to be valley folds. So all 3 are valley folds, and then the diagonal lines are going to be mountain folds, and that is what's going to create that star explosion, that explosion effect. So I've just flipped the paper so it will be easier for me. So the diagonal folds are going to be the opposite of what you folded the vertical straight lines. So mountain folds for the diagonal lines and valley folds for the straight lines. And make sure that it all aligns like I'm doing. If you need to move it a little bit, then do that. So now you can see how it wants to fold on its own, and this is how it should look when it's folded all into a triangle like this. So this one is going to go on top of the base and create that amazing effect of an exploding star. So what are we going to do with our cover papers? We first need to cover our 4 panels on the base. I've speed things up a little bit so you will not see me attach papers forever. So what I did, since I have a pattern with words on my paper, my cover papers, I just took one long piece and then divided it into 4 panels. So the words are basically continue, and it looks pretty cool. Of course, if you don't have a pattern like that, it doesn't really matter, and you can mix and match other patterns as well. So before we attach the star, we need to just remove like a sliver, less than 1/16 of an inch from each side, because when it folds, the base pushes the mechanism out. This is how much you need to take off. So it pushes it out, and then you can have the paper just sticking out of the edges, and you don't want that. So that little sliver that I took off eliminates that problem. So we're going to apply glue to one triangle on the back and then the second triangle. So basically it's sort of a diamond shape on the back, and we're going to attach that in the center, aligning the center fold line, center score line of the star with the center score line of the base, and aligning it between the top and the bottom edges because we want it in the center. So if you need to move it around a little bit to make sure it's in place, do that. Just make sure that all the lines are aligned, otherwise the card will not work perfectly. Okay, so now apply glue to the back side of one side of the triangles, on one triangle on one side, and then attach it to the right side of the card. Remember that sliver we took out? That is the sliver that you need to leave as a margin on the base. So don't align it completely with the edge. Just take it a slightly slivery, kind of a notch down. So leave a margin, a tiny little margin between the edge of the star mechanism and the edge of the card. Don't align them perfectly together. And then after it's dry, you have to wait until it's dry a little bit, and then you can close it and open it. Now you take your square cover papers. I forgot to. So you take your square cover papers and you cut them all in half diagonally, because we need triangle cover papers to cover all the inside parts of the star. So we're going to start with the larger ones. It doesn't really matter which ones you're starting with. And of course I mixed and matched patterns, but you can, this is the moment where you decide how you want to embellish your card with the cover papers. Use whatever patterns you want, whatever combination that you want. You can mix and match other colors if you're making the card for another occasion or another holiday. Let's say for Halloween, this will look really pretty. Just change the patterns and the colors of the papers and the embellishments and have a cool card for Halloween too. So I'm just adding all the triangles, the small ones, the big ones, and then we'll be able to also cover the outside. And like always, I tell you that if you want, you can have a belly band around the card. I'm going to show you how to make one, because I keep telling you in throughout the series that you can make belly bands for the card, so might as well show you how to make it. This is how it looks. Isn't that pretty? This is such a cool effect. So this, you see that you'll need a belly band for this card because it doesn't stay closed. So now we have our little pop-up center. We're going to score that at half, 1, 2, and 2.5. And then create a little spring. It's actually the same technique as we used in card number 2, I think. Yep, in card number 2 we created the same one. So we scored it at half, 1, 2, and 2.5 inches. And then we're going to fold it like this, like a little accordion on each side, and you have a little spring. So we're going to attach that to the center of the star like this. So you apply glue on the little legs, one on each side, on their back side, and then you align the fold line of the leg with the fold line, the center fold line of the star. So that's why I like to start with the first one. Make sure it's in the center, aligned with the score line, and then I can apply glue to the other side, to the back side of the other leg, and attach that too. Just waiting a few seconds until it's dry. Then I'll align the second leg. This makes sure that the card opens and closes properly and still has that effect. And then you can attach whatever you want on top of that little pop-up, as long as it fits inside that large diamond in the center, so it won't interfere with the folding of the star. See how it stands? Cool, right? So now let's add the cover papers in the front, and then we'll be able to make our belly band, which is pretty easy. To make the belly band, you just need a long strip of paper and just wrap it around the card, not too tightly, so you'll be able to take it out when you need to, but not too loosely so it will still hold. And then you simply glue the two sides of the belly band together and add something in the front, like a little embellishment, a little tag, a little flower, a little star, whatever you want. And then you have a belly band, and you can make that for all your cards. Just holding it so it will hold and not pop it open. And then I'm going to add this little tag. I just want to round the corners a little bit, and then of course I want to center this as well. So now I have a cool band as well. So this card has a really fun effect with the star fold, with the star explosion in the center. So I really hope you liked it. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video, so you won't miss anything, and you'll be able to make all 12 cards of Christmas in the series. And you can of course write your message in the back. And thank you very much for joining me. Stay tuned for the rest of the 12 cards of Christmas tutorials. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next.